you have the correct time?
Is this machine recording? Is this machine recording?
Do you
Is
have
this
the time,
machine
sir?
recording?
Shine, mister? Are you tracking me? Know who I am? Captain Clark welcomes you aboard. If you're doing business with a religious son of a bitch, get it in writing. His word isn't worth shit. Not with a good Lord telling him how to fuck you on this deal. If, after having been exposed to someone's presence, you feel as if you'd lost a quart of plasma, avoid that presence. You need it like you need pernicious anemia. We don't like to hear the word vampire around here if you're trying to improve our public image. Killed in a kindly, avuncular, benevolent image. Interdependence is the key word. Enlightened interdependence. Life in all its rich variety. Take a little, leave a little. However, by the inexorable logistics of the vampiric process, they always take more than they leave. And why indeed should they take any? Avoid fuck-ups. Boo, psycho. You all know the type. No matter how good it sounds, everything they have anything to do with turns into a disaster. Trouble for themselves and everyone connected with them. A boo is bad news and it rubs off. Don't let it rub off on you. Do not proffer sympathy to the mentally ill. It is a bottomless pit. Tell them firmly, I am not paid to listen to this drivel. You are a terminal fool. Otherwise, they make you as crazy as they are. Above all, avoid confirmed criminals. They are a special, malignant strain of food.
Because the swells are finding themselves in the quiet race attended to themselves into rivalries everywhere. The rest of the village and the weather will keep referring to crops and the blind people and the railroad disease for this felt random survey. You are.
police keep all boardroom reports, and we are not allowed to proffer the disaster accounts. Wind hand caught in the door. Explosive, bio-advanced men out of space to employ electrician in gasoline crack of history. Last of the gallant heroes. I'm you on tracks, Mr. Bradley, Mr. Martin. Couldn't reach flesh in his switch and 0 time to the 6 tracks. A long time between suns I held the stale overcoat, sliding between light and shadow, muttering in the dogs of unfamiliar score. Across the wounded galaxies we intersect, poison of dead sun in your brain, slowly fading. Migrants of ape in gasoline track of history, explosive, bio-advance out of space to neon. I'm you, wind hand caught in the door, couldn't reach flesh. In sun I held the stale overcoat, dead hand stretching the throat. Last to proffer the disaster account on tracks. See, Mr. Bradley, Mr. And being blind may not refuse to hear. Mr. Bradley, Mr. Martin, disaster to my blood, whom I created. The shallow water came in with the tide in the Swedish river of Gothenburg.
Program every man a God. How can this be accomplished? Well, to put it plainly simple, by doing your job and doing it well. Because there are many gods. God of wars and thieves and pushers. God of fevers and plagues who rides on a whispering south wind. A God of the long chance, the horse that comes from last to win in the stretch. The punch-drunk fighter who comes off the floor to win by a knockout. A god of anti-heroes and outrage. The ship's captain who put on women's clothes and rushed into the first lifeboat. The pilot who bailed out of a burning plane, leaving his passengers to crash. A god of future space travelers who are ready to leave the whole human context behind and take a step into the unknown. Every man a god, that is, if he can qualify. You can't be a god of anything unless you can do it. Bobo has the future, a fine, vigorous pig. LA reinforcements, identity, and passports are middle names. This is operational from the thrones and home, even the cucumbers. Here. This is operational, even in the middle. I am in short 22 and stolen horses, in the hope that some of you will carry these experiments further and come up with something new. It is the Great Awakening. Recordings made with no apparent input have turned up unexplained voices on the tape. Are you in salt? Phenomena are done with a tape recorder and microphone. A good crossing ahead in the usual way. No sounds are heard or emitted during the recording, but on replay, faint voices of unknown origin. The language dropped natural key.
These voices, and you keep up with tech and rig quiz show up at the Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics. Uranian Willie, the heavy metal kid, also known as Willie the Rat, he wised up the marks. This is war to extermination. Fight cell by cell through bodies and mind screens of the earth. Souls rotten from the orgasm drug, flesh shuddering from the ovens. Prisoners of the earth, come out. Storm the studio. Burnt metal smell of interplanetary war in the raw noon streets, swept by streaming glass blizzards of enemy flak. Shift linguals, break doorways, cut word lines, photo falling, word falling, breakthrough in gray room. Towers, open fire. Partisans of all nation, open fire. Tilt, blast, pound, stab, strap, kill. Pilot K9, you are cut off. Back. Back before the whole fucking shithouse goes up. Return to base immediately. Ride music beam back to base. Stay out of that time plaque. All pilots, ride panpipes back to base. Technician mixed a bicarbonate of soda, surveying the havoc on his view screen. It was impossible to estimate the damage. Anything put out up till now is like pulling a figure out of the air. Enemy installations shattered, personnel decimated, board books taken. Electric waves of resistance sweeping through mind screens of the earth. A message of total resistance on shortwave of the world. This is war to extermination. Shift linguals, cut word lines, vibrate tourists, free doorways. Photo falling, word falling. Breakthrough in gray room, calling partisans of all nation. Towers, open fire.
The total taste is here. Have a enthusiasm for playing ball games.
Sensible in view of the world situation and the fact that some 2,000 persons will lose their
Features three
jobs
young singers
and their families will be
who
uprooted.
have
Wolfe is the Republican
adapted
gubernatorial
themselves
candidate endorsed by the recent pre-primary
blues
convention.
so
He
well
seeks re-election.
that
A man
many
from
people
Boston's
who heard this
Roxbury
album
Life. An elderly white man was knocked down by a looting Negro tonight, then struck and hit by a car. The car did not stop. The man was dead on arrival at a hospital.
Rock and roll adolescent hoodlums storm the streets of all nations. They rush into the Louvre and throw acid in the Mona Lisa's face. They open zoos, insane asylums, prisons, burst water mains with air hammers, chop the floor out of passenger plane lavatories, shoot out lighthouses, file elevator cables to one thin wire, turn sewers into the water supply, throw sharks and stingrays, electric eels and kangaroo into swimming pools. In nautical costumes, they ram the Queen Mary full speed into New York Harbor, play chicken with passenger planes and buses, rush into hospitals in white coats, carrying saws and axes and scaffolds 3 feet long. They throw paralytics out of iron lungs and mimic their suffocations, flopping around on the floor and rolling their eyes up. Administer injections with bicycle pumps. Disconnect artificial kidneys. Saw a woman in half with a two-man surgical saw. They drive herds of squealing pigs into the commodity exchange. They shit on the floor of the United Nations and wipe their asses with treaties, pacts, alliances. By plane, car, horse, camel, elephant, tractor, bicycle, steamroller, on foot, ski, sled, crutch, and pogo stick, tourists storm the frontiers, demanding with inflexible authority asylum from the unspeakable conditions obtaining in freedom. Chamber of Commerce striving in vain to stem the debacle. Pleased to be restful, it is only a few crazies who have from the crazy place outbroken. Thank you.
Outside the pier, prowl like electric turtles, disgorging load. The picture to a fellow agent and sank towards the pier. A choking red haze steamed from the purple faces. There's an occasional muffled report as blood vessels burst and sinuses exploded. Wave after wave of silent cops crowded onto the pier and sagged ominously and finally gave way with a crash.
Oiga, amigos. Oiga, amigos. Paco, Enrique, last words of Hassan Saba, the old man of the mountain. Listen to my last words anywhere. Listen, all you boards, governments, syndicates, nations of the world, and you powers behind what filth deals consummated in what lavatory, to take what is not yours, to sell out your sons forever, to sell the ground from unborn feet forever, for Eve are. Listen to my last words, any world. Listen if you value the bodies for which you would sell all souls forever. I bear no sick words, junk words, love words, forgive words from Jesus. I have not come to explain or tidy up. What am I doing over here with the workers, the gooks, the apes, the dogs, the errand boys, the human animals? Why don't I come over with a board and drink Coca-Cola or make it? Now, for God's sakes, don't let that Coca-Cola thing out. Thing is right, Mr. Whoever is responsible for that whodunit. Explain how the blood and bones and brains of 100 million more or less gooks went down the drain in green piss, so you on the board could use bodies and minds and souls that were not yours, are not yours, and never will be yours. You want Hassan Saba to explain that, to tidy that up.
You have the wrong name and the wrong number, Mr. Luce Getty Lee Rockefeller. Don't let them see us. Don't tell them what we are doing. Are these the words of the all-powerful boards and syndicates of the earth? Don't let them see us. Don't tell them what we are doing. Not the cancer deal with the Venetians, not the Green Deal. Don't let that out. Disaster, unimaginable disaster. Don't show them that. These things take time, and that's my business. As usual, Mr. Luce. Short time to go, minutes to go. Blue heavy metal people, don't let that out. Don't show them the blues. Are these the words of the all-powerful boards and syndicates of the earth? And don't, whatever you do, let them see us crabmen, tapeworms, intestinal parasites, squeezing the air, eat it and shit it out, and eat it again, forever. Don't let them see us. Don't tell them what we are doing. Just ask pay. Are these the words of the all-powerful boards, syndicates, cartels of the earth, the great banking families of the world, French, English, American, like Burroughs, that proud American name? Proud of what exactly? Would you all like to see exactly what Burroughs has to be proud of? The Mayan caper, the centipede hype, the short-time racket, the heavy metal gimmick. All right, Mr. Burroughs, who bears my name and my words, bear it all the way for all to see, in Times Square in Piccadilly. Play it all, play it all, play it all back. Pay it all, pay it all, pay it all back.
Clem Schneid. I am a private asshole. As a private investigator, I run into more death than the law allows. I mean the law of averages. Here's routine case of industrial sabotage and the factory blows up, killing 23 people. Well, these things happen. I am a man of the world, going to and fro and walking up and down in it. Now, death smells. I mean, death has a special smell, over and above the smell of cyanide, cordite, blood, carrion, or burnt flesh. It's a gray smell. It stops the heart, cuts off the breath. Smell of the empty body, smell of field hospitals and gangrene. I got a whiff of it when Mr. Green walked into my office.
for Red China rather than North Vietnam. Johnson, addressing a meeting of editorial cartoonists at the White House, held 3 maids at gunpoint and proceeded to ransack the apartment. Their take, one piece is established. He offered to support an Asian Development Bank to help finance economic progress. And the president added that on trial for perjury for allegedly lying to a grand jury about the Duncan parking meter union and helping in jewelry. This late word, the House Education and Labor, the communals in Washington are showing interest about Scrovane's getting the money was made by Gittleson to form on a textile factory on the outskirts of Saigon. That daring attack mounted by guerrillas masquerading as South Vietnamese Marines. Ceasefire policed by an apron proved by a voice vote despite some reports that Scrovane actually got the money. A battalion of guerrillas sent down Vietnamese troops with small arms fire. 15 government soldiers. 26-year-old Michel Duclos and a plea today in federal court in New York. 3 days before.
Kim recruits a band of flamboyant and picturesque outlaws called the Wild Fruits. There's the crying gun who breaks into tears at sight of his opponent. What the matter? Somebody take your lollipop? Oh, senor, I'm sorry for you. And the priest who goes into a gunfight giving his adversary the last rites. And the blind gun who zeroes in with bat squeaks. Kim trains his men to identify themselves with death. He takes some Roki guns out to a dead horse rotting in the sun, eviscerated by vultures. Kim points to the horse steaming there in the noonday heat. All right, roll in it. What? Roll in it. Get the stink of death into your chaps and your boots and your guns and your hair. Well, most of us puked at first, but we got used to it and vultures followed us around, hopefully. We always ride into town with the wind behind us. The townspeople gag and retch. My God, what's that stink? It's the stink of death, citizens. And I think, personally, the whole planet stinks of death. And what are we going to do about it? Well, all this may have happened many times before in this old universe. Here we are, trillions of years ago in Galaxy X. And a rally has been organized to protest the use of black holes as an energy source. A bit late, as it turned out. Closing time, gentlemen. Brian Geisen has a bedtime story. It seems that trillions of years ago, a giant flicked grease from his fingers. One of these gobs of grease is our universe on its way to the floor.
Nothing here now but the recordings. May not refuse vision in setting forth. Silence. Don't.
'Twas goodbye on the line of Bradley's naked body. Love skin on a bicycle built for to you like a deflated balloon. Your cool hands on his naked dollars, baby.
Who is speaking? Vaudeville voices. Crackling paper without names went out in green electric shocks. Dreamin' dreamer lying there. Blessed be he who spares galaxies we intersect on. No more. My writing arm is...
Dollar, baby.
How cute can you be in desolate underbrush? You were meant for me, battered phonograph talk face. I'm just a vagabond, passed without. Can't play the game as well as you, darling. Trade whistle, open shirt flapping. I diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Summons melted into air. Identity. The driver shrugged. Such people made in Paris, 1961. Mr. Bradley, Mr. Bond. There were his shadow, muttering the time had come for him to forbear. My blood, whom I created, you are yours. I had a dog, his name was Bill, a working clouds of me. Carrying his inside the car.
This is the space age, and we are here to go. However, the space program has been restricted so far to a mediocre elite who at great expense have gone to the moon in an aqualung. Now, they are not really looking for space, they are looking for more time. Like the lungfish and the walking catfish, they weren't really looking for a new dimension, a dimension different from water. They were looking for more water. But some of them found that they had taken an irretrievable forward step, and for better or for worse, left their gills to their makers. And as we leave the aqualung of time, we may step into an epoch comparable to the days when the early mariners set out to explore an unknown world. I can see all manner of spacecraft, some of them obviously lethal, preparing to take off. Only those who are willing to leave everything they have ever known in time need apply. It is necessary to travel, it is not necessary, and becoming increasingly difficult to live. This gentleman is a death dwarf, as you can see, manipulated by remote control. Compliments of Mr. and Mrs. D. Give me a shot, says the dwarf, and I'll tell you something interesting. Hydraulic metal hands proffer a tray of phosphorescent meal, yellow-brown in color like pulverized amber. The dwarf takes out a hypo from a silver case and shoots a pinch of the meal in the main line. Images. Millions of images. That's what I eat. Psychotron shit. Ever try kicking that habit with apomorphine? Now I got all the images, sex acts, and torture ever took place anywhere. And I can just blast it out and throw the goops right down to the molecule. I got orgasms, I got screams. I got all the images any hit poet ever shit out. My power's coming, my power's coming, my power's coming. He goes into a faith eater routine, rolling his eyes and walking his mouth. I got millions
millions and millions of images of me.
This reading is from a novel in progress entitled Cities of the Red Night. And this passage concerns a virus which occasions biologic alterations in those who survive, and these alterations are genetically conveyed, giving rise to a race of mutants known as the fever freaks. Some of these mutations are favorable and some otherwise. A top government official bluntly warned, Virus B23, now loose in our overcrowded cities, is an agent that produces biologic changes in those affected, fatal in many cases, permanent and hereditary in those who survive and become carriers for that strain, which, as a matter of survival, they will spread as far and fast as possible to destroy enemies and quite literally make friends. Junkies, however, are only lightly affected by the virus and remain characteristically unchanged.
Well, he says it's about time to identify an area, even white dwarf image barely disguised. Like the United Goodbye on shortwave. Hell for these traitors, liars who want time for pink sheath mediation, cowards who cannot face what you have given to others. Account screams hot crab people, museum of disease. Your planet has been invaded. You are dogs on all tape. Cut, shift, tangle control lines of Word and CIA's number 3 man, Richard Helms. Howard television, light on. Street gangs, Uranian born of last answer, get out and fight for your streets. The board gimmick is the ovens. Terms with this organism, symbiosis con, gallows to be travel agency. Boys, take the place apart.
Sit down. Order in the court. D.A. Gentlemen of the jury, these learned gentlemen claim that the innocent human creature they have so wantonly slain suddenly turned himself into a huge black centipede. And it was their duty to the human race to destroy this monster before it could, by any means at its disposal, perpetrate its kind. Are we to gulp down this tissue of horseshit? Are we to take these glib lies like a greased and nameless asshole? Where is this wondrous centipede? We have destroyed it, they say smugly. And I would like to remind you, gentlemen and hermaphrodites of the jury, that this great beast, he points to Dr. Schaefer, has, on several previous occasions, appeared in this court, charged with the unspeakable crime of brain rape. In plain English, he pounds the rail of the jury box. In plain English, gentlemen, forcible lobotomy. The jury gasps. One dies of a heart attack. 3 fall to the floor, writhing in orgasms of prurience. The DA points dramatically. He it is, he and no other, who has reduced whole provinces of our fair land to a state bordering on the far side of idiocy. He it is who has filled great warehouses with row on row, tier on tier of helpless creatures who must have their every want attended. The drones, he calls them, with a cynical leer of pure educated evil. Gentlemen, I say to you that the wanton murder of Clarence Cowie must not go unavenged. This foul crime shrieks like a wounded faggot for justice at least. The centipede is rushing about in agitation. Man, that motherfucker's hungry, screamed one of the bears. I'm getting out of here, me. A wave of electric horror sweeps through the conference. They storm the exits, screaming and clawing.
Falling. Photo. Falling. Breakthrough in Grey Room. He is gone away through invisible mornings, leaving a million tape recordings of his voice behind, fading into the cold spring air, pose a colorless question.
Question.